Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today something appeared on the World of Tanks front page that I least expected, and that is that Wargaming have put new customization mechanics onto the 921 test server, and this dramatically affects the way that you can make your vehicles look in World of Tanks. And just look how Wargaming describes this. Customization is the key to turning your vehicles into fully realized digital representations of you and your personality. Okay, I think that might be pushing it a little bit. But apparently you can show off your achievements and the favorite parts of World of Tanks. That's the vision. And this is apparently laying down the foundations for it. And so today's video is going to showcase Wargaming's vision, let you know everything that I've been able to figure out so far, hopefully answer some of your most frequently asked questions, and yeah, spoilers, you can now make your tanks look, well, let's just say a little different. So far in World of Tanks, the only way to customize your vehicle was to decide what kind of camouflage you wanted to put on it, and decide amongst the various styles for the different seasons. The first major change here is that Wargaming are actually dividing up the separate parts of the vehicle, and you can apply different camouflages to different areas of your tank. So if you're so inclined, you can paint the gun and the mantlet in a different shade to the turret, and even different to the hull. So in addition to having different camouflage for different parts of your tank, Wargaming also now enable you to change the scale of the camouflage. Take a look at how many different colors there are on the turret, and shall I say how much width all of the stripes have. Now let's make it large, so there's much more width, less stripes, down to medium, and then you can even have small, very narrow strips and lots of colors. And for some of the designs, this really makes a difference in the way that it looks. Look at these stark different contrasts for these kind of lightning strikes coming from the turret. The next thing that Wargaming have done is they've made it very clear where your emblems go on your tanks. There'll be a glowing cross as to where you can put them on the vehicle. And this is the same deal for inscriptions as well. If you want to put inscriptions on your tank, it's just clearer as to where they're going to go, and it makes more sense. One completely new feature as well is that you can actually apply an effect to your camouflage. So do you want to have worn paint? Well, as we can see, the paint on the M48 here wears, albeit slightly depending on if you want to have it. But I guess this is actually quite prominent on the front of the vehicle. Take a look at this. Yeah, much more prominent along the stripes on the front. And so far so good. What Wargaming have also done is they've got rid of this kind of rental period for a vehicle. And they're changing it so that you rent an entire camouflage for the vehicle that will last for a number of battles. Currently, it's 10 battles. And right now on the test server, this says it's going to cost you 1 single credit. But remember, all of this is subject to change. Wargaming are clearly going to price it differently if and when they add it to the game. And while this will definitely favor somebody who has a lot of tanks and plays a wide amount of variety from their garage, it clearly won't be as good for somebody who only has 1 or 2 vehicles and just plays them a lot in a short time period. But one thing I should mention about this rental style is you won't be able to customize it, and if you want to customize it, you have to go to the My Style and buy everything individually. So now let's talk about the real big change, and that is Wargaming are now putting a painting system inside World of Tanks. And so what this means is you can color different parts of your vehicles with the paint. And you might be wondering, well, it hasn't actually been colored very much, has it? Just kind of, you see these France base color blue accents on the helmet, for example, and you can see some parts on the gun barrel and the mantlet here, and that's because it's getting covered up by the camouflage. And currently, what you will have to do is to remove the camouflage from all of the different schemes to be able to then go into the paint and then clearly see what happens when you paint it now. Oh wow, much more prominent, right? And each tank has up to 5 different subsections: your tracks, your hull, your turret, your mantlet, and your gun. And you can paint them all in different colors if you so want, which leads to quite a funny looking vehicle in my opinion. Now, paints are divided into 2 types: historical paints and also non-historical paints. And yeah, these non-historical paints, well, their colors are a little different to the historical ones, right? And you can straight up make your vehicle look like a bit of a clown. Just take a look at the mouse that I painted up earlier. Oh my God, this is just absolutely sacrilegious. And tanks that have big old meaty mantlets, well, they seem to look actually pretty cool when you do paint them up, because you can change the mantlet color, and the T123 has got a gigantic mantlet. So for example, let's make the mantlet blue, let's make the gun purple, and let's make the tracks blue as well. Oh God, what have I created? Now, currently the only non-historical paint colors available are purple and blue, but I'm sure that Wargaming are going to add more of them into the game. And before you turn this video off and start panicking and thinking, okay, finally Wargaming has gone too far, a lot of you will be very happy that if I press my escape key, and no, I'm not planning to just quit the game and uninstall right now, you press your escape key, go down here, scroll down here, and there's an option to hide all of the non-historical elements from World of Tanks. And so I believe this is going to hide the non-historical camouflage. But I can also imagine Wargaming maybe adding in more options to remove, for example, the Patriot paint job, if you really don't want to see it on an enemy vehicle. And you know what? Great. This is the clear-cut answer to them being able to really put in whatever the hell they want into the game. If you can uncheck things and still play the game how you want to play, then fine, let Jimmy go and paint up his mouse in purple and blue and run around and ruffle stomp. Well, I guess you're not really running around anywhere quickly in the mouse. And so considering this, and as long as Wargaming implement it correctly and make sure there are no bugs like they've been having with the friends list recently, and this hide non-historical elements does work perfectly, then I have absolutely no problem with having any kind of color scheme on any different vehicle. Because if I'm not interested, then I can uncheck it. And one thing I just thought about is, what about the spots on the mouse? I'm sure this will look absolutely awesome if I change the scale of it. Oh, you can change the scale. Oh, that looks awesome. Look at the difference in the hull of the changing of the scale. Oh, that's really cool. Or even in the large spots, this kind of leopard skin kind of print. Oh, the scales, they just makes it look so different. All right, that's pretty nice. I like that. So obviously there are two major concerns coming from this. Firstly, that I just absolutely pray to God that Wargaming don't get carried away with themselves and try and add in crew skill effects for the different emblems and inscriptions. But I think considering the last outrage over Rubicon, that's not going to happen. And secondly, the fact that we have no idea how much this is going to cost. Currently, it's 1 gold per paint, but I can imagine it's probably going to go up to more like 30 gold per paint, but that's just a complete guess. And furthermore, one thing that kind of annoys me right now is that a lot of people only buy camouflage, and I'm one of them, so that you can get the little bit of bonus that you get to your concealment value. So for example, on the T100 LT, I have 42% camo. But what happens if I want to make my T100 LT like a clown tank? Well, clearly if I put the paint on the hull, you can't even see it through all of the different camouflage. That blue paint isn't coming through. So I guess I have to go to the hull here. I have to remove it. Okay, now I can see the blue hull. And if I purchase that, save it, go to my garage, well, now my camo rating has actually dropped down because I no longer have the camouflage on the hull. And so how Wargaming will implement this, I don't know. Maybe they're going to have an unchecked show camouflage option for the hull, so you can still paint it up and get the concealment bonus for if you pay for the camouflage. Or alternatively, maybe they'll just make painting the hull more expensive and make it influence the camouflage as well. And that brings me on to one important point, that a lot of you who only play this for the concealment bonus for actually having the camouflage on your vehicle, if you want to get the full concealment bonus, you don't have to apply camouflage to all of the different parts of your tank. The only part that you actually have to apply camouflage to will be the hull. And then if you apply that, go back to your garage, then we can see that the concealment rating's back up to 42%. So now let's round up what are likely to be some of your most frequently asked questions. Firstly, can you apply these camouflages to all vehicles? Well, at the moment, they're only available for Tier 8 premium tanks and Tier 10 tanks. But they say that they're working to bring them to lower tiers, and so we'll just have to wait and see. Next, Falan posted up a Q&A on the forums that states that they will work on customization for other tiers, i.e. tiers 6 to 9 during 2018, and that suggests to me, are we going to see this for Christmas? I'm just kind of confused. On the homepage release, they're not saying that this is going to be tied to update 9.21. It's their first point in fine-tuning them, and they will release the new customization mechanics to production servers as soon as they feel that everything is polished and works as it should. But I've still got a funny feeling that this is some kind of knee-jerk reaction to the fact that update 9.21 just doesn't feel like it's a big Christmas patch. But don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. New customization mechanics is something that I've been asking for absolutely years in World of Tanks. And the only thing I guess I'm slightly disappointed about is my idea of customization was to be able to add on barrels or to add on logs to your tank, for example. Maybe you could add a searchlight on top. I'm not wanting it to affect the spaced armor of the vehicle or increase the size of any of the hitboxes, but just for your tank to look cool. And even if it was just for yourself and no one else could see it, that would be my idea of absolutely awesome customization. But for all I know, Wargaming are planning this in the future. And I think what this is it shows that they're implementing a system. It's the fundamental, it's the way that they're going to deliver customization to us, and really they can just take it from here. And what I also see this as is a pure way to monetize World of Tanks. They're not selling some overpowered premium tank, they're not making some kind of premium round that does more damage or just has better penetration. Visual customization, new skins for characters and so on and so forth. Some of the biggest free-to-play games in the world are only monetized through those means. And so I'm personally only happy for Wargaming to replace some of their arguably more dubious pay-to-win aspects of monetizing their fantastic game with cleaner-cut ways like this. And hell, you know, if it works for League of Legends, why can't it work a little bit for World of Tanks too? And if it's bad enough getting killed by an FV4005 Stage 2, I think that if you get killed by an FV4005 Stage 2 wearing clown camo, that's gonna take things to a whole new level. But of course, as I've highlighted already in this video, if you don't want to see any of these clown camos, then just hide the non-historical elements. And also I should reiterate that everything you see is subject to change. Whether we even see this go into the game is another question. But considering Wargaming are kind of releasing it as a 9.21 update, I'm pretty sure they're set on this one. And so there you go, ladies and gentlemen, everything you need to know about Wargaming's new customization system, or at least the first iteration of it on the 9.21 test server. And if you want to go and play around with it yourself, then just update your test client and you can do so right now. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down, and let me know in the comments why, and also all of your thoughts on these kind of camouflages. Do you like the kind of extra customization from them? What do you think about the paints? What do you think about the clown paints? And finally, just a quick heads up that a lot of you really want me to play Total War Arena. And if you're one of them, I'm going to be streaming it right now on Twitch. So come along and check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.